Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Pink Sofa Hour. My name is Pedro, and I am joined today by Big Dopes, virtually through the magic of technology. Hi guys, how are you
We
doing
did it.
today?
Fine, how are you, Pedro?
We are doing it. This is my
We're doing
first
it.
time trying this, and I think that so far I'm quite pleased with how it's going. Most
I'm very
importantly,
impressed.
Eddie, how are you feeling today?
I got a little sniffle in my nose, but I'm feeling pretty good. And all things considered, been pretty mild. It's just inconvenient and frustrating, as you can imagine. But because I originally got it, COVID, maybe a year and a half ago. And so getting it again, uh, you just kind of, it's not over, folks. Pandemic's still around.
Yeah.
It's happening. So entering that world again, quarantining and being kind of housebound, and I'm trying not to go too crazy, but hopefully, you guys can keep me aligned if I fly off the handle today with the stir crazy business. So
Yep, I have heard that COVID tends to affect the brain sometimes, so we'll keep an eye on you for sure.
thank
Paul,
you.
how are you feeling
I
today?
appreciate that.
I'm feeling great. I had a little bit of fun last night. I went and saw the Velveteers at the Bluebird, but
That's
I made it.
awesome. I'm gonna be seeing them tonight at the Fox. I think that
Oh, amazing!
Oh, heck yeah. Nice.
Yeah, you're in for a treat. Their show is incredible.
They're awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, they're definitely one of the Colorado bands that seems to have definitely started to gain some national traction, which is always great to see.
absolutely. Yeah, and they
Absolutely.
deserve
Very
everything.
deserved. Very deserved.
Heck yeah, I can't wait it. So, most importantly, we're here to talk about you guys today. So, Big
Yes. Thank you
Dopes.
for, yeah.
I feel like it's a little easier to cue in sometimes on, conversational cues when we're in person. But today we're gonna try to leave some space open to chat with you guys. What did the name come from? How is it that you guys arrived at Big Dopes as a name for the
Yeah.
band?
No, it's funny. Like, so few people have asked that question when I feel like it's pretty, like, if you're going to interview a band, come on, this is music interviews 101. Ask the band where the name came from. So I appreciate you asking that, Pedro. It has I like the name. It was something like a term of endearment that my uncles and like my grandpa would use a lot for dogs, young children, things like that. Get over here, you big dope. Things like that. It was always this kind of like weirdly, it was always like really aggressive the way they would say. It was kind of like, but it's a term of endearment, but it's someone, when I think of a big dope, it's someone who you love. That's kind of, they're not all there all the time. They're lovingly doofy. They're a lovable doofus or something. And I guess I kind of from the beginning wanted to have something that towed the line between having fun. Big Dose is not really it's not necessarily the most serious sounding band name in the first place, but at the heart of it all, like we don't take ourselves too seriously. And that's something that, as much as I want to express, serious artistic feelings and things like that, it always felt right to have that as the baseline, something that was fun and sort of maybe took us down a peg in a way that felt right. I don't know. So I don't know if you could speak to that too, Polly, but
I mean, I love the name. I think it's fun. Anytime someone asks about the band, it always gets a chuckle. So
I also think it's great. In fact, it suits you guys quite well. You're like big golden retriever energy. I think that
that is the highest compliment I could ever get. I appreciate that.
having seen you guys perform, I can definitely see where the name comes from. It's definitely
Heck yeah,
lots
that's
of
awesome.
positive, lovable energy, and it's not important to have a serious band name. I think that it's important to have a band name that conveys some energy that is where you guys come from. So I'm really happy that you guys found that first. Dibs.
Thank
You
you. I
guys,
appreciate that.
of course.
We nailed it. We got the domain name. We got everything. Yeah, it's
got
on lockdown for at least 10 years or something. I'm not really sure what the statute is on the web domains or whatever, but I'll keep you posted on that.
I'm sure you
It'll
guys
be in
can
the show
always
notes.
renew.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I think you guys are not the full band either, right? There's two other members.
No, we're not. Yeah. it's true the members. So we like many bands that I've heard about the story during the pandemic. Two of our members moved to Rockford, Illinois, the most rockin' town in the USA. And we are still honestly stronger than ever, surprisingly, despite the move. I miss them dearly. That would be Justin Catanzaro, the bass player, and Ricky Brewer on drums. And they right now are working on some new recordings, actually. And we're trying to do remote recording and things of that nature. A lot of stuff that really picked up during the pandemic, and people are kind of figuring out the right way to do that kind of stuff. So in the meantime, we schedule like adults very nice stretches of time to play and record and rehearse. And we're going to have our what we call the Big Dopes Retreat in February. So I'm going to go see them with Polly in mid-February. And we're going to finish and work on some new songs, nail down some important Big Dopey tasks and all that stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And it's like having a long distance band was definitely a hard thing at first. I've always had kind of a romantic notion of a band having the same lineup and being in the same city. And obviously you can do a lot more things when you are together consistently, but it's been a very adult sort of project. And I think we've grown from it, learning how to work this way. And I don't know. I'm like I said, I really honestly feel like we're stronger than ever because everyone's still so committed, even though they're distant. We're constantly in contact, trading demos, talking about what the recordings are going to be, or talking about shows and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to have their physical presence right next to me right now. I don't want to give them the coronavirus, but I would like to be next to them when I'm healthy and see them. But in the meantime, it's the best thing. It's the best thing for everyone as individuals, and I'm very happy that everyone else is happy. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Like a lot of long distance relationships, it's really important to stay in communication constantly, and
absolutely
keep sharing your life, and momentarily try to get together whenever you can. And it sounds like you guys are definitely on top of that, as good adults should be. In any relationship.
We're trying. Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
Communication is key, indeed.
So, Paul, you play synth, and you also do some backup vocals, right?
A little bit of backup vocals, and I do guitar as well.
Nice, yeah. I remember on the stage back at Bobcat, you guys were talking about some incident that had just occurred where you just got out of the hospital or something. Some crazy situation. I remember being like, "How are you like alive or even on stage right now?" What was that all about?
I had a pulmonary embolism in late November.
Right. Jesus.
I think it was like a week before that show too. But I was hospitalized for a few days, but got out of it. And by the time of the show, I was feeling pretty much back to normal. So
I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, you definitely need your lungs to do a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even just play synth. Yeah, I mean, breathing, right?
You'd be shocked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say my bit though too. I said this at the show, but like Paul texted me. I had no idea what was going on. He texted me in this very blunt, matter of fact text. He said, "Hey man, listen, I'm in the emergency room right now I got a pulmonary embolism, but I should be fine to make rehearsal on Thursday. It should be okay for the show." Just like, okay, like actually, and like weirdly,
that's dedication when he said that too.
Right, it's dedication, and I think it speaks to his character. Absolutely, Paulie to the bitter end. He's like down for it. I'm genuinely afraid of the pulmonary embolism. I was like, that's something that I think it happened to someone in my age group, in my like immediate, or like in the periphery of my friend group, and I have always had this like lingering fear that could happen. So I was like, when happened to Paul, I was freaking out about it and like just Googling around, like, helplessly Googling, finding worst case scenario type stuff on WebMD and all that.
Oh, the best, of course.
And yeah, it's the best. Yeah, it always really calms your nerves when you need it most. But I'm all I all just I just mean to say that I'm really happy he's healthy, and was very nervous for a minute. I'm glad he had people looking after him.
Yeah.
And just riding those blood thinners to the bitter end.
Yep.
Whatever it takes.
Gotta take him today. Sorry,
Oh,
that
yeah,
cat is yelling at us. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Casper, stop.
Even Casper. Casper the cat is kind of our unofficial mascot as well.
He really wants to be a part of this conversation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you want to grab him.
Oh yeah, I'll show you guys.
Yeah,
I've
he's
got
very important.
I've got Scooter in the
brand.
studio today, the official mascot.
Oh, what up,
of,
Scooter? How's it going?
Pink South Hour. He's not on camera right now, but maybe we'll get a Scooter cam going. Oh, that's cute. That's
like
the
best.
That's a good kitty.
Best freaking cat.
That's awesome.
He's so goofy. I know, but now you have to be quiet.
So let's see here. The most recent release you guys had was Destination Wedding, right? The most recent LP, I guess I should say, because you had that remix pretty recently. And Destination Wedding, did you guys like end up going to a destination wedding and that's what inspired the name, or is it more of like a metaphorical kind of thing? Destination weddings do tend to have a particular sort of context and feel to them. So
absolutely. Yeah, let's unpack that. So Justin, the bass player, suggested that as a name to me, and I at first was just kind of thinking he was picturing, people with surfboards and full suits and everything, and getting married on the beach and that kind of stuff in a sort of dopey way. He was kind of imagining us getting dopey with it, and I thought it was really funny imagining like photo shoots with the destination wedding, all that kind of stuff. To me, it's just a very evocative phrase, and I have never been. Have I been to an actual destination wedding? Like, I think of beaches, like I said. Personally, I got married in Denver, and I had a lot of friends who came from other cities. So I guess technically, I had a destination wedding. I don't really know what the term. I mean, it encapsulates a lot of things. But there's something about it to me that it's both a fun thing, but also it has a little bit of. There's something a little detached about it. Being in a different city than, like, for example, where you grew up, your family and friends, there's something kind of strange and off-putting about a destination wedding, I guess, to me, that had a little bit of darker quality to it as well. In my view, I guess, maybe I'm just a bit of too much of a looking too much on the dark side of things. And maybe I'm just trying to flatter myself there's more to that phrase, but it spoke to me in different ways. I've been to different weddings, different cities, and I had there's a vibe always. You have your inner core of people, but then there's a lot of people involved in the wedding that you don't know. And there's a strangeness, I guess, an undercurrent of strangeness to the event. It feels like a very modern thing, I guess, to have, right? A destination wedding and a little bit, maybe, I don't like begrudge anyone for having one. Like I said, I basically have one, forcing people to travel to where I was for my wedding, but
for the record, I think that doesn't count as a destination wedding. I feel like the destination has to also be not where you actually live, but making people come to your wedding. It is kind of a destination wedding for them. But like if you guys went and everybody had to go get tickets to Spain or something, that's a little different.
Let's be real here, okay? Like destination wedding too. Like whenever I talk to friends about this. There's like people are excited about it, but I have friends who like there's like the logistical. I'm not gonna get plane tickets. I gotta get the suit and all stuff, and I'm going all the way over here. And like when I've talked to people about this, there's this sort of like grumpiness about like that at first, and of course when you get to the wedding itself, it's very fun and you're enjoying that. But there's something a little bit removed about it, and it's definitely a different kind of experience, I guess, than it's obviously different from a normal wedding. So I just think that it was rich with imagery. It's something like I think about. Also, I wanted to say as well, I grew up in St. Louis, lived in Chicago for a while, and now I'm in Denver, and I've been here for 7 years. And I think there's a sense of uprootedness that I'm always kind of dealing with and feeling like what is home to me and things like that. And I think the idea of the destination wedding kind of personally had resonance because of things like that. Trying to
totally
find myself in a new place, there's always that sort of negotiation I'm trying to make. So that spoke to me on that level, I guess.
That's really cool. I definitely can
Yeah.
see some of that sort of imparted into some of the themes in the songs as well. You know, out of curiosity, where did you guys meet? It seems like you guys are kind of from all over the place. You said that you're from St. Louis.
Yes.
Paul, where were you born?
Um, I was born on the East Coast of Massachusetts, but I went to high school in Fort Collins, and I've been in Denver for about 10 years.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you guys all meet in Denver? Is that kind of where the band formed, pretty much?
We
Yeah,
did. It was our point of genesis.
yeah.
Indeed.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. And how long have you guys been together as a band?
It has been, I think so. We had the original trio was Justin, Ricky, and myself. And I think that was 2017 that it formed. And Ricky, so Justin and I were working on songs together, and we met at an open mic. And Justin is an amazing songwriter, musician, everything in his own right. And it's like I had all these songs that I had written. And I was like, would you mind helping me flesh these out? And he's an awesome, like I said, musician, an all-around musician and arranger. And he helped me with that stuff. And then he's like, hey, I was like, I had a friend, my friend Stephen Pamis from the band Hello Mountain. He said, I know you've been working on these songs. We got a show at Lion's Lair coming up. Would you guys want to play it with us? And nothing like a show assignment to sort of like get your ducks in a row and try to like make something happen. We kind of from that, like we just kind of went bam, bam, bam. We need a drummer. Justin knew Ricky Brewer from another band that they're in together, and he's like, yeah, I'll just play for this show and see what happens. And he remains our temporary contractor drummer to this day. We're always trying to keep him on his toes.
Doesn't sound so temporary anymore. This is
No,
Scooter, by the way.
It's permanent. If he leaves, hey Scooter, what's up? If Ricky leaves, I will cry to myself to sleep. So don't do that, Rick. I'm just joshing with you, bud. But no, Ricky. So then Paul and I was in another band called Oxide Daisy. I played bass for them. It's a dream pop band out of Denver, and I think I met you, Paul. My recollection is the first meeting we had was at Lost Lake.
That
at a Trivia Oregon show or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Lion's Lair. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, we played together. And
And
those are great venues, by the way.
With Paul.
I'm actually going to Lost Lake tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
All the LLs. It's part of the LL trio: Learmer Lounge, Lost Lake, Lion's Lair.
Right.
They're the best.
It's fun to mix those names around. Well, Lost Lion.
Yes. Lion's Lounge.
The Lake Lair.
Indeed.
Nice.
But yeah, and then Paul and I met, and he's like, hey, if you want to record with us, come down. I got a basement studio. And so Paul was just, we recorded our first album, Crimes Against Gratitude, like a year and a half or something. Paul was just like locked in. At a certain point, I was like, we've added so much to this record. Also, Paul is undersold himself as well as a multi-instrumentalist. I think he plays probably every instrument you can think of. And he's a Suzuki method trained violinist.
Oh,
added some violin and fiddle to our record. And he's done, he plays piano, guitar, bass. He could pretty much play anything you put in front of him. It's kind of astounding constantly.
We're going to go ahead and pivot this interview into the Suzuki method. This is now a Suzuki method interview.
Need every...
How much trauma do you feel like you have on a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh my God. Yeah.
And why is it a 10?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's actually a Gorillaz song where they remix one of the, it's like from the first CD. It's like the very first thing you learn. That bum, 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 bum. Yeah, and
you hear that and like you can't hear that song.
Yeah, they just put this like behind it. It's great.
Nice. That's kind of a good segue potentially into another question that I had for you guys is, how did you guys start your musical journey personally? That was kind of a nice intro into how the band got together, but everybody kind of has their own path. Some it's Suzuki, some it's very self-taught. So maybe we could start with Paul, since we were already kind of diving into that. What kind of got you into music?
So my father's a saxophone player, so I kind of grew up around a bunch of music, and yeah, I started doing violin when I was about 5, and then started playing punk rock when I was a teenager, and I've basically been in bands ever since, and just kind of just doing a thing, playing shows, writing songs. I got into recording maybe about 10 years ago. Started learning how to do a little bit of production and stuff like that. So
Nice.
but yeah.
Did you
Could you tell them? Sorry, I just want to
Oh yeah,
guide
go
this
ahead.
interview for a second here, Pedro. Paula, can you tell them about your? It's not just like your immediate family. Like you are part of like a musical lineage. I feel like too, because the story about the piano that came across.
My grandfather was a concert pianist in Austria, and he when he immigrated here, he like brought his baby grand piano on the boat. So
wow,
it's at my house right now. But yeah, yeah, and like beyond that, like I've got a bunch of family still in Austria who are like my cousin Elizabeth is a opera singer out there. She's fantastic. But
I don't think I knew that actually.
Yeah, she's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I gotta find her. Does she have stuff on YouTube? Or anything?
I think I could find something and send it to you.
I want to find something. I want to hear that.
Yeah,
that would be a very cool look into your history as a musician. Obviously, that's a nice place to come from. Basically, knowing that many musicians at that personal of a level kind of automatically just slots you right into playing music for a good portion of your life, if not professionally, at least very well as a hobby. But it sounds like you found your way into doing everything sort of, in a format that allows for other people to be actually appreciating what it is that you've got, where it is that you came from. So that's really cool to see. Eddie, how is it that you started your musical journey?
Well, I've always been a huge music fan. I was kind of like the nerdy person who wrote like really bad reviews in the newspaper in high school and college. Basically just like trying to emulate Pitchfork and writing like really overly strident opinions about things that I didn't have that strong a belief about, but I would just felt like I had to do that because that was normal. But anyway, I love music, and I've always, since I was 16, I've been really obsessive as a fan, and I always kind of told myself that music is one of those things that is this magical talent that only people like Paul Simmons can have, and I could never do that. And so I kind of like took this lane of like I'm going to be a music writer and all that stuff. But sometime in college, I was about 20 or so. I've always been surrounded by really supportive musician friends. I was friends with band kids, band geeks, and band geeks also in high school and college. And I was roommates with a few of those people. And I taught myself how to play guitar just from like tabs online. I was just like, one day, I want to learn this. In fact, I think it was, I wanted to, this is just so cliche, but it's beautifully cliche, hopefully. My now wife was living in another country at the time. I learned a song by Wilco, and I wanted to learn it and show her, and I showed her the song. So height of romance, that's just, yeah. But I learned that song, and I kind of just, it's one of those, it was a snowball thing where I'm like, oh, that chord sounds like this song. I just got obsessed with learning, and again, encouraged by my friends. I had amazing roommates, Kevin and Chris, my friend Pat. I'm like, do you guys, I only know like G and C. Do you guys just want to jam on that for a minute? And then they're like, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh, thank you. I'm like, it really felt like, I was being nurtured by people, and many friends in Chicago. One of my friends was like, can you play bass for us? And I was like, I don't think so. But he's like, I have a band, and you should try it. And so it was a lot of having friends that are really encouraging and making me realize that how much I enjoyed. It went from this very private experience to something that was very communal. I realized that I love the communal experience of music, and I definitely was inspired by a lot of punk rock indie band kind of stuff, realizing that like bands like the Minutemen, Pavement, stuff like that, they aren't the most like they're not classically trained. They didn't do the Suzuki method, as far as I know. But that's okay. There's like realizing there's so many different avenues to music, and what I really enjoyed was bands that really had their personality shine through, and that songwriting can be whatever you want it to be. And I've always been kind of on my soapbox ever since I learned so late in life, at least by what I considered to be the standard. I learned when I was 20 or whatever. And I have a lot of people that are like, I don't think I think it's too late for me to learn. And I'm like, no, I'm like shaking. I will shake you if you really want to learn,
yeah,
do it, because it's just the most rewarding thing.
And it's so nice when you have a community of people that are so willing to bring people into that musical tradition, both from the perspective of being brought into it, and also then kind of, reliving some of that experience of being able to bring other people into it. I think that that's one of the best ways to really discover music, not just as a practice, but as like a community,
Absolutely.
It's one of the best ways to experience music is communally, rather than just kind of in your bedroom hanging out playing G and C.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a maybe there's some level that has to do that, to sort of like feel like you have to learn and kind of do it on your own and sort of feel comfortable in your own skin playing in front of a mirror or something. I don't know, just playing in front of your computer like I was doing. But something I was just like, I just realized after a while, music is communication. Talking, it's just the same as talking to you guys. And I think I sort of felt this, like, oh, if it's not, it can sit in your room for only so long. And it's fun to imagine it having feedback, other people interacting with it. And yeah, being in a band again was that kind of first realization of that, like having other people give me feedback. And then there's that going to an open mic and really putting yourself out there and trying and just seeing how people respond to it. I think I always have utmost respect for people who do the open mic and just see how it goes. I think everyone should try it. That's just my, but it was a very, that was kind of where I cut my teeth and met some of my best musician friends. But yeah, again, it's like I'm constantly thinking about community and how can we like bring that into the Big Dopes world, and inviting more collaborators in, and talking to people at shows and just trying to be friendly and encourage other musicians. So that's really important to me.
Yeah, and to that point, I think you're right. Open mics is a really great place to show that off, because people are always so much more accepting of pretty much anything that you'll do at an open mic, and it's a great feeling to really know that you have sort of an audience no matter what, even if it's just other musicians who want to be hearing that kind of stuff, who want to see people experimenting and feeling that as kind of like a pulse or a lifeline inside of the community of what it is that's happening. Like something you hear at an open mic might be an album in like a couple months, might be somebody's new project.
Totally.
And oftentimes it's also how people end up meeting to start projects.
Absolutely. Yes. No, open mics are so important to musical ecosystem. And I feel like they get overlooked, maybe unfairly maligned as well. Yeah, I'm just getting my voice in order.
That's all right. You were
didn't do my exercises before the interview. My vocal exercises.
I was actually going to talk a little bit about your voice in particular. I think there's an artist that it reminds me of, and I already had kind of discussed that a little bit with you, but Jerry Paper. I think your sort of vocal range and how it is that you tend to sing and like the things that you sing about even sometimes. I think that comparably, Jerry Paper is what I think of when I hear your voice. Have you heard him? Do you like his stuff?
I have. I've heard a little bit of Jerry. I've heard just a little bit. He came through town recently. I had a friend, I think, who played at his show, actually opened up for Jerry Paper. And I really enjoyed it. It's one of those things that it was a kind of fly-by-night Spotify thing that I listened to, but I want to check it out more. And I will take the compliment. I appreciate that. I really enjoyed what I heard of that. So, heck yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So I want to go through a couple of other questions before we were just like having such a great conversation, and I love it. But I definitely want to touch on some of the subjects that we had kind of planned to discuss. So um,
Yeah, fire away.
let's go through them. The "Take You Anywhere" remix, kind of speaking on that
Yes.
whole notion of musical community, remixing and
Hmm.
talking to other artists. How did you end up um, getting in touch with Little Trips and Greg and getting this remix off the ground? Because it is actually a really fun take on that song.
I agree. Thank you. We have been thinking, well, so I've known Little Trips for a while. They've been actually a few different iterations of the band. Used to go by the name Whiskey Autumn, and they've moved to this psychedelic Tame Impala influenced kind of space, and I think their music is amazing. We've always just been buds. We played shows together, and speaking to the point of like community and trying to incorporate more people into our like universe, just had this idea to reach out to do remixes with people earlier, I guess sometime last year, and reached out to some people, and Little Trips were game right away. And it was so, when someone says yes to anything, I just, you feel so invigorated, like, oh my gosh, you think this is a good idea too? This is awesome. And they're so talented and so nonchalant about it, in my view. And they just emailed me back like, hey, let me know what you think of this. And I was just like, this is good. Yeah. No
Nice.
edits. It's awesome. And so,
That's
yeah, that song, the original song, Take You Anywhere, it's a very, spare, short, kind of bare bones arrangement of a song. And I'm very proud of it and what we did with it. But I think I wrote some silly thing on Instagram or something, but it's about like, they like took that song, strapped it in a spaceship, launched it into the cosmos, and took it on a little ride out there. It's
yeah.
just like I was blown away, and again, it's so flattering. Someone like digging in the weeds of your own music and really deciding, first of all, being really honoring the song, but also putting perfectly their stamp on it. And I thought they just added this whole new layer to the song that was very rewarding and validating to us, I think, as a band, to have someone else really want to dig in that much. And then also they played up at that show with us that you were at
Right.
Skylark
Right. Yeah.
in
Uh,
December,
they were on the
and we had a
drums
blast. Like,
and also some keys, I think, or guitar, right?
yep, keys and guitar. Yeah, Jason and Greg came up there, and they came to our practice. And like usually we're used to our practices being this kind of like hermetically sealed off world where only our opinions matter and letting them fly. And so it was really so cool, wasn't it, Paul, having them in there in the room? They kind of took the lead on how to arrange the song,
and it was a really interesting experience because it was almost like we were learning a cover of our own song.
yeah, exactly.
Because they changed it so much, and I love the remix, but they like changed the chord structure and everything. Like it was like learning a whole new song. It was a really, really fun experience.
It was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Not only must have that been fun, I can also imagine that it was inspiring to see people wanting to take on any of your songs and like turn them into sort of like their own spin and like flavor of what it is that you guys did. And it is a really nice remix. So like that definitely had a good amount of work that went into that.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I saw them. I think I saw Greg play with Grace Divine at Bobcat this last
Yes.
weekend.
Uh-huh.
He was on the keys and he was absolutely killing it. It was great.
He's a master. He's so good.
Yeah.
He'll hop on a couple bands. He helps South of France as well, who's a well-known Denver band. And he's all over the scene.
I love that.
Shout out to Greg.
Speaking of love, the next sort of segue, I guess, that I wanted to make was
Love that segue.
That's not bad. Love in Real Time.
Speaking of love, yes,
you guys just
that's
had
a good album title, actually. Sorry.
Speaking of
love,
I can see that.
Dopes Hits Volume 2.
You guys, I watched this music video, and I gotta say, it is really well produced. I am impressed with how much work went into it, and a lot of camera work, a lot of set work, a lot of different things that kind of melded together to really give a cool impression of what this song was about. What was your experience of kind of getting into all of that, getting into a mime outfit and doing all this work, you know? It looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Dylan Owens gets, like, I would say, I'll just give him all the credibility and praise. Dylan's a good friend of ours. He's an amazing director, editor, everything, and an amazing friend. And he has directed all 3 of our videos now. And he reached out about, I think we were just talking about if we want to do another music video, a 3rd one, and how it would look. And he's always been fond of that song. And I really appreciated that and wanted to sort of pursue whatever his vision was for that. So we met up and talked about it. And yeah, so it is a lot of it has, at least thematically, I was thinking about how distant we can feel in communicating with via text, really, via like the way we communicate all the time. Is one theme in the song, is thinking about how you can interpret what someone says in a text and kind of spiral out of control and think it means something more than it really does.
Yeah.
And that was, again, the song covers lots of different things I was thinking about and topics, but we decided to take that as the thematic sort of like germ and kind of go from there. And so you can see in the video that there's a person talking to what looks like an old friend in a text, and sort of they're like, "Hey, are you in? I'm in town if you want to hang." And it's kind of like a last minute message that they get, and you're like, and then we wanted to take it to sort of a dreamy space, and so Dylan dreamed up these visuals where we're using a rear projector to sort of project my like inner visuals or memories, ostensibly the person who's me in that video, and I'm walking actually on a treadmill that Justin, our bandmate, the handyman and also bass player, he completely sawed off, like that. You know, when you hold a treadmill like this, you're like on the top part right there, like kind of like you're on a horse. He found a way to saw that whole thing off and just make it like a bottom treadmill, just the bottom part, but still have it operable. So he had the wire. It's almost like a little like video game controller that he was using to turn it on and off. And so
that's tricky.
That was going in front of. It was amazing. He like did it in like a day. He's just like insanely talented at that kind of stuff. And so that treadmill was going in front of a rear projector, and we just thought it was a neat effect having this. It's not just a green screen in the background. It's actually a visual, an actual projector going on in the background. And there's a sort of just disjointed feeling to that. But I think, I don't know, speaks to certain feelings that we have about getting in your own head and sort of.
So it's like a visual metaphor for that feeling of like texting and being sort of like walking, but in a disjointed kind of way from like your setting in some sense, which could be like almost like your emotions versus the actual words that are being exchanged.
Yeah, we were trying to capture that a bit. And that definitely is just part of it. And we're trying to leave it a lot up to interpretation, obviously, because we're just trying to art the heck out of it here.
But art the heck out of it.
It's
I love that.
Art the heck out of it. You know, that's the mission statement. But it really, that was what was a part of it. There's just a cool sort of detached, interesting feeling to that. And so many people helped with the video, and I'm so grateful for it. It was at the Ozatlan Theater in Denver, which is over in Santa Fe Arts District. And it's an incredibly beautiful space that has maybe seen better days, but they're nice people, and it was really awesome to let us use that space. And I think that it's beautiful inside. Like there's lots of old details that we tried to capture in the video. An awesome snack bar with it just says in neon on top, it just says snack. And there's really a lot of awesome stuff with that.
One snack.
Just one snack is one snack per person. But it was those shoot days are always really intense because we're trying to pack a lot on a tight budget into 1 day or 2 days.
Yeah.
And then you come out of it like, whoa, what did we just do? This sort of whiplash feeling. And now I'm just like so grateful for all the people that helped. There's probably 15 people that helped with everything. And Dylan being the person I'm really grateful to for really just pushing it over the finish line and doing lots of things that needed to get done, wearing lots of different hats and all that. Polly was there too. Polly helped as a PA for a while.
A little bit.
And yeah, it was really a lot of fun. And the mime, it was miming. I'll just end on this for the video. Miming is way harder than I anticipated. I tried my best. I will say that, and hopefully people enjoyed it. But wow, I watched. I'll tell you what. Watching a 5-minute YouTube instructional video before you try to be a mime is not enough to help you really capture that whole artistic methodology. So I have a lot of respect for mimes now. It's very difficult to create a physical space with your hands, and from that I really, and your hands and legs and everything, and try to make it look realistic. It's a really incredible thing, and it's something that has always been kind of, I guess it kind of seems old fashioned and maybe kind of silly. And now I'm like, dang, mimes are like, don't hate on mimes. Mimes are cool.
You found the new
Stop hating on them
for mime school. Yeah, that makes sense. It's
absolutely.
It's quite an old tradition too. I mean, that has been an art form for a really long time, and it's fascinating to see somebody who's actually really good at it. Just any sort of any sort of take on that is impressive.
It felt disrespectful to do a 5-minute video before I got up on stage. I should have done more prep, and I apologize to the mime community. So.
Oh dear. Looks like we just lost a video feed. 1 second here. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on here. Just a moment, everyone.
Yes, he is. Ooh, nice fades. Like that.
Thanks. Okay, I think I've got it back now. There you guys are, and there's the picture in picture. Excellent. Okay. Thanks to our viewers for giving me the heads up, occasionally letting me know when things are a little wacky. This is totally a new sort of experience for me, not just doing the remote interview, but also doing interview shows with video. I am having a great time learning a lot of stuff, but sometimes things get a little wacky. Let's see.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, perfect. I was just checking your levels. They look good. Let's talk a little more. Let's talk.
Let's talk.
I checked out some of the other music videos that you guys put out. Don't Get Up, I think, is the name of another one. I particularly like that one because of some of the expressions that you guys capture from certain aspects in that sort of interaction between like the band and I guess it's like a friend of yours who's like, he's kind of pantomiming some really, really annoying dude. What is that song about exactly? I kind of wanted to dive in deeper, but I wanted to kind of be surprised by some of the behind the scenes sort of descriptions. So.
Sure. Yeah. So that person who's pantomiming, he's definitely not a really annoying guy. His name is Evan Davis. He's not annoying, okay?
I could tell that he was being funny. that came across.
Evan's amazing. Evan's a comedian in town. He's a stand-up comedian, improv comedian. He's incredible and a good friend of ours. And so the genesis of the song was I had experiences with a house guest that were, maybe not the most flattering to either party. And I was kind of just maybe in this sort of, this had happened already maybe days before or something. And I was I was kind of getting mad at myself for how I was upset about, certain behaviors or things that happened. Like I was just like, it's a very personal experience having someone come in your house, and having them navigate your own house rules that you don't even realize you had were house rules, Mm-hmm. I think that maybe as I've gotten older, maybe I've gotten a little bit more like crotchety about my personal space or something. I'm sure the pandemic didn't help with that either. But but the person is still a friend, and it was just like one of those like little silly kind of dust ups. And when the song, Justin and I wrote that song together, he came up with that bass line, and we were kind of playing through it. And I was just kind of imagining, kind of talking through my feelings about it, and kind of imagining myself as this sort of expectant host who's a sort of kind of a jerk, you know? And trying to, and just going through the anxieties of what it's like to be a host, having people over to your house in your personal space, and then trying to make it something kind of fun and silly. And it was definitely a collage of feelings and experiences at that time, but I really enjoyed playing the song. And the video, so going off of that, the video kind of was that same sort of narrative, making a really cartoonishly bad guest, and that was Evan.
Yeah.
And then taking that to the extreme and trying to have fun with it.
Cartoonish, I think, is definitely an accurate word for that. It was so over the top how ludicrously unfortunate it would be to be friends with somebody like that that I couldn't help but laugh like several times.
I'm glad.
Yeah, that was I think the second music video you guys did, right? And then there was one.
That was the first one, actually.
The first one, okay.
That was the first collab between us and Dylan Owens.
Nice.
Incorporated.
And the last one was.
So we've had the two bookends we've discussed. The middle one was Lovers on the Weekdays.
Right.
Which was another Big Dope's Dylan Owens joint production.
And that's the first track off of Destination Wedding, right?
It is, yes. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We heard a little bit of that.
Thank you.
Before we went live, I usually play a little bit of the music from the artists and just kind of put Destination Wedding on and let it rip. But my favorite track is a little further down in the track list. It was my favorite before you explained the history behind it, and now it's even more my favorite. And that one is Tom's Theme. I just couldn't get over the lyric, "Thank you for powering our country," and I didn't even care what it meant. I just think that was just like, this is great. I don't understand it, but now that I understand it, it's even better. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. So I have a dear friend named Tom. He's a real person, and Tom is the kind of person who in 2023 will send you a thank you note for something, which all of our moms would like us to do, and I don't think many of us execute on it. But Tom just did it seemingly out of the goodness of his own heart. So shout out to Tom if you're out there. I had gotten a thank you note from Tom, and it was on a walk, and I was just thinking about, man, what a nice thing to do, to get a thank you note. And that's something I wish I would do more, and to be so thoughtful. And I actually have a group chat with some of my friends, where we'll just, there are a lot of my friends back in Chicago, and Tom is part of that group chat, and I send him a little voice memo of myself going, "Tom, you got a warm and kind-hearted soul. Thanks for powering our country." And
because he's an engineer at a nuclear power plant.
Oh yeah, sorry.
that's really the
nuclear power plant.
The incredible part.
Yes, I meant to explain that part. He's he's an engineer. He's powering our country, a nuclear power plant in the greater Twin Cities area. So thank you, Thomas, as always, for powering our country. It's a thankless job. Somebody's got to do it. And I just thought it brought warm feelings when I made that little memo, and I just thought it'd be really fun to make it into a song and to flesh out a sort of thank you note to Tom, and to just have a song about a friend felt special to me, and it just made me feel good the whole time making it, and hopefully Tom enjoys it. I think he does. So people, we always ask before shows if people have friends, if anybody in the crowd named Tom out there, we got this song for you, and no one ever raised their hand. There's too many shameful Toms out there.
There was one time where the entire crowd started just chanting Tom. They were really into it.
That's amazing. that's a good story. I feel
Yeah.
like you guys got to capture some of that energy and send it over to Tom one day. Just be like, look at all these people cheering for you.
Absolutely. Yes.
By the way,
Actually, I don't know if I have it somewhere over here, but yeah.
Oh, the note.
There was a note. It's somewhere kind of buried in some junk over here, but someone like after that song, and I think it was in Colorado Springs actually. It was the Tom Chant show that someone came up to me on stage. I was in the middle of the show, and they like handed me this napkin with a Sharpie message on it, and it said, "To Tom." Actually, do you remember this, Paul? Exactly what it goes.
Like Tom seeking Tom for.
Oh yes.
Like I don't know.
Yes, Tom seeking Tom
T4T.
for Tom time.
For Tom.
Tom seeking Tom for Tom time. Something love Tom at the end or whatever. And so I read
That's
it to the crowd, and people chanted Tom again. They loved it. I don't know what got into people that night, but it was really endearing and fun. So
That is really fun, actually. You know, I love hearing stories from people's experiences at shows, playing shows. Do you guys have any favorites? Any apart from the obvious Tom chant being one of them? I feel like it's a really great.
what do you say, Paul?
Yeah.
I had a great time when we played in on our last tour. We played Sheboygan, and it was just so unexpected. But we had a great crowd of just really nice people. It was kind of one of those shows that was, it was sort of a last minute thing, and we were kind of going into it with a little bit of low expectations, and they partied. They had such a good time. We had people like, couples like swing dancing in front of us. It was great. That's
Nice.
probably my favorite show that we've had in the last.
It was awesome. Like we had a friend. Justin had a friend in Sheboygan that helped us get the show, and last minute, like we were just learning how to book tours and how things go, and it was a last minute thing that worked out. And I'd never been to Sheboygan, and I just felt blown away by the hospitality. Everyone was so nice to be there, so nice to us there, in true Wisconsinite generosity, manners, fashion, I guess. People are like, "Hey, you want the rest of my cheese curds? I got some smoked Gouda cheese curds if you want the rest of them." I was like, "Hell yeah, thank you so much." I'm a huge fan of the Upper Midwest in general, and that show I already had high expectations, and they blew them out of the water. So we want to go back to Sheboygan, and I'm trying to think of some of my favorite experiences. We've had many since we started touring, but we what I want to talk about was. Well, so I have someone who's close to me in my life who came out to a show to see us in Kansas City at this great outdoor venue called Lemonade Park. And at the end of the show, she bought us a round of shots for everyone, which is something that it's not my favorite thing in the world, people. I really appreciate when people buy shots. I think it's a very nice gesture, but I think Polly will take it up. Polly will take mine if you want to buy it for him. But after a show, I'm like, it's late. I'm like, my stomach doesn't always agree with the shot experience. But this person who will go unnamed, but they're a wonderful person. But they're like, they bought us. Hey, you guys want to do shots? And I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. Let's celebrate the show. It was fun. And so we all got in a circle. There's a video of this video evidence, and this person we all raised a glass, like, yeah, big dose, we did it. And then in the video, I didn't know this happened in the moment. We all took our shot of tequila or whatever it was. And you can see in the video, like Zapruder film, she like takes the shot and then throws it over her shoulder and doesn't take it. And everyone else takes the shot and then celebrates. Like, yeah, we did it. I was like, whoa, that is incredible. And I might try that sometime. I might try that move actually. If I'm just not, my stomach isn't feeling too hot. It was incredible.
Yeah, I don't think shots are designed to help your stomach feel better generally, but it depends on the person. It certainly depends on the person.
Yeah. Maybe throw a little ginger in there. You never know. Yeah.
A
little ginger and honey.
That's fair. Apparently, some people want to see your birth certificate. I'm not sure exactly what that's about, but
hard hitting.
Hard-hitting journalism. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the chat, but we do have a live chat where you guys can interact with us. And I just put a little prompt in there for anybody that wants to ask any last-minute questions. We've got about 5 minutes left, and we're going to keep it rolling with a couple of other things I wanted to touch on. But one of those
Yeah.
things was that you guys are currently planning on releasing a vinyl soon for Destination Wedding. Sign me up, by the way.
Yes, indeed. Oh, heck yeah. Thank you. I actually have, this is the test pressing right here.
Ooh,
Clamped
spicy.
down. Yeah. This is the big spicy reveal, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Everyone. So it's our first vinyl experience. We're putting Destination Wedding on wax, and I'm so excited. Paul and I got together recently and did the test pressing listen through that you're supposed to do to make sure everything's sounding good.
Yeah.
And aside from
calibrate my record player.
Aside from figuring out that Paul had to calibrate his record player, it sounds amazing.
Like slightly higher. Did a little bit.
Yep, gotta get those things leveled out. The bubbles don't lie.
Turns out it was a record player problem.
Yeah. It was alarming at first to hear my voice pitched up, like, Paul's like, you sound younger. You sound like and I was like, oh God, what happened here?
Yeah.
But we tested out other stereos and everything, and it sounds awesome. And I just like, the 16-year-old music fan in me was like freaking out, very pumped, kind of emotional having on vinyl, but we are super excited, and we're having a vinyl release show in Denver soon, which we can't announce just yet, but it'll be in March. We're looking at March.
Heck yeah.
And we'll have like a pre-order and everything popping up, but it's really a dream fulfilled, and I'm very excited. I'm just excited. I don't know. Again, like I was nerding out thinking about me when I was 16 getting a vinyl and thinking about trying to get the details right to where everything felt like something that I would really want,
and
as a music fan. So
you guys are also planning a tour soon, right? Is that right?
We are indeed.
That is very exciting.
And this is a Pink Sofa Hour exclusive. We haven't announced this yet, and we're still working on it, but it'll be this April. We're working on tour. And we're heading east for the first time. We're going to hitting some eastern cities, and we will announce that with more details very soon. But we're so thrilled, and it's about the same time we went on tour last year, and that was an experience that the first tour I was very nervous about. It's for so many reasons, and when it was all finished, I was just like, when are we doing this again? We have to do this. So,
heck yeah, it's a really exciting experience. Do you have any new songs that you might have coming up for this tour?
We're working on it. Yes,
I know you're going to be over at the Dope Retreat in February, so maybe we'll have some fresh music coming, right?
We're cooking. We'll be cooking in the kitchen all that week.
Nice.
And we're hopeful to have a single out in around April. It's getting close. It's a song called Moon Car, which I'll reveal. Big reveal.
Ooh.
Moon Car is the song we're working on. And we're having fun working on it right now. It's a very exciting thing. So stay tuned for all that stuff. It's still some kinks to be worked out and things that need to get done. T's to be dotted, I's to be crossed, and all that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, indeed.
And we do have a question from the audience that seems to be pretty important. It seems to come with a little history. Why didn't you sign Martin's Chest in Chicago? I mean.
Oh wow. Well, I don't know if I had the right. I don't want to hurt you. I don't know if I had the right marker, Martin. I'm sorry.
I had a pencil.
I think I had a pencil, and I didn't want to.
I think
like brand you with something.
Carve it literally into his chest.
I mean, unless you wanted that, maybe I should have asked you. I'm sorry, Martin.
I don't know. He sounds a little disappointed, but I think that was also.
We will do
probably
anything for our fans.
Anything? Well,
anything.
You heard it here
Next
first.
time.
Pink Sofa Hour. The fans will get what they want, even if it involves bodily harm.
Yeah. Hey, if it's consensual. Anyway, if that's what you want, Martin.
I want to thank you guys again for coming on the show. I really had a great time with this conversation.
Me too.
Touched on a lot of good subjects, and I wanted to just open the floor up to you guys for this last little minute to do any shout outs or anything else you wanted to say.
Polly, we should shout out Justin and Ricky, who are not here with us today. and they're holding it down in the Rockford branch of Big Dopes Incorporated, at the logistics hub of Rockford, Illinois. Who else? Polly, what do you think?
Erin, shout out to Erin.
Shout out to Erin, who's
she went on tour with us last time and helped with tour managing and merch stuff. She's been a huge help. She's always just whatever we need. She's right there. So
indeed, basically the fifth dope.
Yeah.
The fifth dope.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of anything. The fifth dope. Yeah,
love that.
If there ever was one. Yeah, and then just I don't know, if you stay tuned for the record. We're hoping to have some new merch out as well. New shirts. Looking into some hats maybe as well. If people are into hats. So thumbs up in the chat if you're into hats or something. I don't know. And then yeah, that's awesome. I don't know. Tip your bartenders and all that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's always a good one.
Yeah.
I'm a bartender, so
Polly's bartender. Tip Polly only.
What about your adorable parents? Says Katie Schmid.
Katie Schmid. Oh, they're lovely. That was kind of a leading comment, wasn't it? They're very adorable. Oh, I meant to say, yeah, my parents are very, like I said, they're kind of, my dad and his family were kind of instrumental in the name Big Dopes happening, because that's, again, their term of endearment.
Right.
And my dad is a huge music fan, and that is undeniably my DNA. Some of these records and posters are his in the background here that you can see. So I'm always grateful to them, and I'm glad they showed up in the chat. It's always good to have your parents cheerleading you in the YouTube chat.
100%. 100%. And
yeah,
thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the Pink Stove Hour with Big Dopes. I'm your host, Pedro. Eddie, Paul, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much, Pedro.
Powering through the COVID. I hope that you're feeling 100% soon, and we will have you guys on
feeling better
very soon for a performance section, which will really, I think, tie this whole thing together. Can't wait to see that. And yeah, thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for this conversation, and we're gonna go ahead and go offline, but we'll be back next week with Cellar Smeller, and I will be enjoying that episode in particular quite a bit. Cellar Smeller being dear friends of mine, and more details on that to follow. Once again, this has been the Pink Stove Hour. Have a great rest of your day.